Welcome back to the channel. My name is a-bomb. Welcome back to Football Manager 2021 and Eastern Resurgence 2 with Steaua Bucharest. That is the Steaua Bucharest that are currently champions of Romania. Last episode, we won the league. We also won the Romanian Cup. It's a double for Steaua this season, and we had a great end to this season last time with a 4-0 win over Viitorul, a win against FCSB to confirm the league title, and then a 3-2 win in the Romanian Cup final, also against FCSB, to win a league and cup double in season 6. What we're going to do today is go through the final 2 games that I played off camera. We had nothing else to play for as champions. We're also going to have a look at the season that's just happened, and also we're going to recap and go through the story so far, just for some people that might be new to this series. This would be a good place for anyone new to start the series from, because I'm going to kind of bring you up to speed with what's been happening with Steaua so far. So if you're new to the channel, if you don't really want to commit to watching 50 odd videos, then this would be a good place to start. And as always, if you are enjoying the videos, do drop a like down below and leave comments. They're the best ways to support and help the channel. And if you haven't done so already, or if you are new, do subscribe, turn on notifications. We're currently less than 40 subs away from 1,000. So, as I said, we did play a couple more matches to finish up the league season. We had nothing else to play for, so there didn't really seem to be a need to show these games on camera. So I played them off screen, and this is what happened. First up, it was a 3-1 win away from home against Astra Giurgiu, and you might see some new players in here, players that we haven't given a start to yet. And I use these games to give some games to a couple of players that I think are probably just about ready to start playing for us, but maybe not every single match. Just some of those fringe players. And here it was Ilya Nikolic, our centre-back, and Gabriel Bordea, our left-sided attacking midfielder. Bordea did well. He did very well. Nikolic, not so much, but it was a good performance here. We took a lead on 33 minutes as Exxon Denoza scored his 7th goal of the season. However, Astra equalised just before half-time in the very last minute, Patron scoring for Astra. Bordea did have a good game. In fact, he got a goal on his senior debut, 49th minute. It was 2-1. And then he set up Ismail as well. Made it 3-1 on 67 minutes with his 36th goal of the season, Ismail. 36 in all competitions. Just a remarkable stat for him. And a good 3-1 win away from home in our penultimate game of the season. And then our final game of the season was away against CSA, who actually beat us at home in the reverse fixture in these playoffs. But this time we did manage to get the 3 points. Very, very lucky, I think, though. We might have lost this one. It was a very, very close match. And CSA, with an XG of 3.2, maybe should have won. They had a penalty as well, which they hit the post with. So, yeah, we can count ourselves lucky here. We weren't great. We went behind very early on. Chaoshu with the 4th minute goal for CSA, giving them a 1-0 lead. And then they won that penalty. And as I said, they hit the post. Varga failing to convert that. But after a pretty aggressive halftime team talk, they went out in the second half and just completely changed. It was a really good turnaround. Bordea went off at half-time after a poor 45 minutes compared to his previous fixture anyway. And we scored 3 goals in the space of about 13 minutes. Maksimovic with a goal to make it 1-1 on 67 minutes. Denoza then scored in back-to-back games and gave us the lead on 79 minutes. And immediately after that, Ismail scored his 37th of the season to make it 3-1. CSA did look to stage a comeback though, as a Chalea scored in stoppage time to make it 3-2. But that's how it ended. A big win away from home there. A lucky win, I think. But it's a really, really good end to the season. And we lost our first 2 games in the playoffs. It was a terrible start. But from then on, we won every match. So I think we absolutely deserve the title based on the season that we've had. We've lost very few games. We've been really, really, really good, and it's such a good season. And then adding a cup final to that as well, beating FCSB there. It's a double for us this season. It was an amazing season. And next year we're going to try and defend the league title and hopefully hold on to the cup. It's going to be tough. So here we go, the end of season review for season 6, and it's a season in which we won a double. So we'll start by looking at the new arrivals. And there was a mix of young fringe players and first team players here. Looking through those first team players, then Chimpianu, 20-year-old centre-back coming in from Chiajna, was very, very good. 33 starts, got himself a goal and a pretty solid central defender. Denoza, the winger, the very short winger, but the very quick winger, got 27 appearances, scored 8 goals and set up 9 as well. A 6.98. It's not quite a 7, but it was a pretty good season for him. Shofran came in on a permanent deal after a previous loan spell with us, and he played 42 games, so most of them. Popov did kind of become second choice and didn't do well when he did play. Mbungu had a solid season before his unfortunate leg break meant that he's going to be out for about 6 months. He got 6 goals and 6 assists. Nedelayer was fairly solid, £500,000, our most expensive player so far, 39 starts, 3 goals and 6 assists. Sipos didn't have too much involvement, only started 1 game, 12 appearances from the bench, just the 1 goal. Ismail was playing like every moment that he could. Nezovic is a striker as well that moved up front, so Sipos didn't really get a lot of time to shine. And we'll wait and see what happens with him next year. Radim Vandas, a left winger, 21, 12 starts, 8 from the bench, a couple of goals. Not terrible, but I don't think he'll have a lot of time to play next year. That's it for the first team players. And then the youngsters, we'll assess them once they actually get some first team appearances for us. But as we saw in the previous game, Bordea did make a start for us and managed to get a goal and an assist against Astra. So that was impressive. Looking at the departures, Popescu's had a good season for Pandaril. They're 28 years old, went there on a free, got 8 assists and got himself a goal as well. So a pretty impressive season for him there. Brasanovic didn't feature too much for Vitorol Janka, 5 appearances for him. Got a couple of assists in there though. Drugici barely featuring for Gazmatan Medias, £190,000 to play 3 games on the bench. Not great. And then Castro was a player that barely featured for us last season, and he's played a couple of times for Petrol and not done well. We finished second after the 30 games, 2 points behind FCSB, and that final day where they lost 4-0 was huge because that meant that gap was shrunk to just 2 after them being 5 points clear. And then because of the halving of the points before the playoffs, that gap went down to 1 point, and that was big. Ismail was our top scorer in the league with 25 goals. He scored 12 in other competitions as well. Our average attendance was 26,000, which is miles ahead of any other team, 87% full. Looking at the Europa Conference League, of course, we got through to the 4th qualifying round before our heavy defeat on aggregate against Midtjylland. This season, we're going to be in the first round of the Champions League qualifying because of our win in the league. So that's going to be really interesting to see. And we're going to be in the Champions path as well. So we're going to be joined by loads of other champions from around Europe as well. That's going to be really interesting. And then the good thing about that is that if we do go out in the Champions League qualifying, then we get dropped down to the Europa League. And then if we were to go out of the Europa League qualifying, we'll drop down to the Europa Conference League. So there's a good chance for us to get a good number of games in Europe this season. And who knows, we might even manage to get into a group stage this year. I'm not sure of which competition, but some group games would be nice. If we can make our way to the proper Europa Conference League this year, that is the group stage, that would be really, really good. I'm losing my voice. I think I'm recording this too early. I only got up about an hour ago. And then, of course, the Romanian Cup also ended in a win. We managed to pick up 2 Manager of the Month awards. Unsurprisingly, Ismail Player of the Season, Erez Young Player of the Season, Ciprianu Signing of the Season, and Ismail with most goals and most assists and most man of the match awards and the best average rating. But Vasilescu with the most passes per 90 minutes. Actually not bad this season. It's the best rating he's had since his first season with us. So it's good to see that he's being, pretty solid without being amazing. So the board just want us to stay up again next season. We've just won the bloody league. And now they just want us to stay up next season. But after that, they just want us to become an established team. I wonder if we could change this to maybe top half. Like, can we even go to top half? Let's try and suggest it. No, literally any change you make to this club vision will be ignored. I've never had it be actually confirmed and accepted. Right, now the end of season team meeting. Last season, we finished second and came very, very close to the title. And I told them to finish, I think, mid-table, and they were not having any of it. So I think I should probably go with stay up again just to make them happy. Or maybe go mid-table. I'm going to go mid-table. See, even that, overall meeting atmosphere difficult. People are hurt and offended. All right, how about just avoid the drop? Okay, it's silly. It's absolutely silly. Give a good account of ourselves in the Champions League. That's fine. I don't think we're going to be expected to get to the groups of that. So yeah, we've just won the league, and I'm saying, do you know what? Let's just try and get mid-table this season. And they're like, no, we're going to get relegated again. We're shit. We didn't win the league. We're terrible. Once again, the team get their 1-day holiday before coming back for training. I'm going to give them like 2 weeks off. I don't want them going on a training camp when they're meant to be on a holiday. All right, let's not look at this as a pre-season camp. Let's look at this as a group holiday. Where do we want to go? I mean, the better question is what's not on the red list. I think we can count out Turkey. I mean, let's send them to Spain. Should we go to Ibiza? Let's go to Ibiza. We've got just a 1.5 transfer budget, but I think we've got a nice big wage budget. So we'll try and play with that and see what sort of money we can get. All right, we're going to move some of the transfer budget into our scouting so we can afford that Eastern European package again. We've got $1 million. We've got like $3,000 as well. So we're going to have to move this around a little bit. But we're going to have around £1 million to spend, I think. And maybe some more if we make some sales. Okay, they've agreed to increase the transfer budget. So what's that going to go up to? They've added about 70k. Thanks, board. All right, so it looks like we're going to have to do a bit of business this season to try and, build a team that can hopefully retain the title. It's going to be quite tough, I think. There's going to be some bigger fees to pay. Wage demands are going to be much, much higher. I mean, Ishmael is going to be a problem. He's got a year left on his deal, currently earning $1,200 a week. If we offer him a new deal now, I think he should be a star player, absolutely, so we'll give him that. Okay, he's gone down to 3. Last time I tried this, he wanted 6k. It's going to be a struggle, I think, to get good players this season because our transfer budget isn't as high, I don't think. In terms of where we need improvements, I think left back and right back need a really good player because Radu hasn't done too well. So we've got Radu, we've got Netu, who had a good end of season, but didn't play too much in the first part of the season. So I think we should try and go out and get a really good left back. And the same for right back as well. Shofran's been solid this season. Popov hasn't played in a while and he's down to average as well. We've got players that can cover right back like Chimpianu and Sukar who can play right back. But having, again, a really good natural right back would be good. So left back and right back I think should be our most important positions to get players in. I think the right wing needs a good player. We've got Mbungu, who's got a broken leg for like 6 months. Dinoz has been pretty good. Kravinovic could be a good youngster. Ishmael will play as often as he can. Nezovic can move up front. But behind him, Sipos is good for like a backup. But I think we need a striker that's going to be really good, but happy to maybe be on the bench. Because Nezovic and Ishmael will play as often as they can, but if we get injury problems, I want someone that I can trust to come on and score goals. And I don't think that's Sipos. So I think we need a striker that's going to be good, but happy to stay on the bench. Okay, now I did promise that we were going to do a bit of a recap this video, so we're going to do that now. So let's go all the way back to the very first season, shall we? Season 1 in the 3rd division. As you know what, first of all, let's talk about the club, shall we? So for those that didn't watch the very first video of this, and if you haven't, I'd recommend going to watch it for a more detailed recap of like the history. But Steaua started out in 1947 after Romania became a People's Republic and essentially were a club for the army. And they won, trophy after trophy after trophy throughout the 50s and 60s and 70s and the 80s. They got to their first European Cup final where they beat Barcelona, the first Eastern European team to win the European Cup. They got to another final. They won the Super Cup. And then it came to the late 1990s and things started to change as the club started to move away from the Army Sports Association and become its own club. And it wasn't until it was taken over by Gigi Bacali that they became their own entity and became a public company. But then because of the way that he had essentially taken over the club, the Ministry of Defence, the army, sued the club and had like a claim to all the club's honours and their rights and their name, which led to Bacali having to change the name of his club to FCSB. And then in 2017, the Army Association basically brought back Steaua Bucharest, the original football club, in the 4th tier. And last year they got promoted to Division 3 after a few failed attempts, and that's where we picked them up. So that's a very brief run over of their history. If you'd like something a bit more detailed, then go and watch the very first video. But yeah, we took them on in Division 3 back in 2020. So we took Steaua on in that 3rd division and managed to get promoted in our first year. We won our division by 8 points over Dinamo 2, managed to get through to the playoffs where we beat San Martin in the semi-finals And then in the final, we beat Shomus Falticeni to win instant promotion to the second division. Looking at the team we had around that time, Ionuț Ispas, who is still at the club now, but is going to be released at the end of the season, was our top scorer with 9 goals. We had players like Wallace and Betzer, a really solid centre-back pairing. We had Raichu, our electric midfielder. We had Kipaliu, who was our original sort of best striker up front, but unfortunately suffered a long-term injury. He's now retired, age 30. And that sent us through to the second division, where we finished 5th after 19 games. And that sent us through to the Champions playoff into that top 6, where we managed to finish 4th place after an extra 10 games with 50 points. Not enough to get us automatic promotion, but we did have to play a playoff. It was there that we took on FC Hermannstadt and unfortunately lost 4-2 on aggregate after a couple of 2-1 losses. It was a good season for Ispas again. He got 17 goals that time. Soim Tudor had an impressive performance on loan. And the defence was, again, very solid with Betzer and Wallace still there, Brasanovic joining it, and Vidrariu as well. So we went back into the second division, and after 19 games, we found ourselves top of the table, 7 points clear, and again through to the Championship playoff group. And we managed to retain our place at the top of the table, winning the League 2 title and getting automatic promotion to the first division after 3 seasons. That's when Lovren Nezovic joined us and got 21 goals. We had Popescu as well, Negoiscu, who was on loan for us for about 4 seasons. And again, solid defensive performances. Wallace and Betzer still there. Apraya joined, Popov came in. That's when Grayab joined the club as well. But 34 goals between Nezovic and Ispas was a really, really good turnover for the 2 attacking players. And then we had our first season in the first division. We joined the ranks of our local rivals FCSB and eternal rivals Dinamo Bucharest as well. And we managed to avoid relegation. After 30 games, we were in 11th place. And then in that relegation group, we were in 5th and steered clear of relegation. Ispas kind of became a bench player. Manea came in and got 11 goals. We lost a few personnel here because Wallace did not want to commit to another year. He wanted a non-playing role, so we lost him. But still had another good season. Nezovic with another 17 goals for him. And we see some of the players that we know today, like Maximovic, who got 4 goals on his debut. And Stupar and Toma. And some players that are still around today. Our second season in the first division saw us qualify for the championship group for the first time. 3rd place and 2 points behind FCSB after the 30 games. We went through to the championship group and came ever so close to that title. As you can see, a 3-way tie at the top of the table. I think we lost it on a head-to-head in the end, because I think Gaz had a better head-to-head than us. It was a very, very, very close end to that season, but we did qualify for Europe for the first time, entering the Europa Conference League for Season 5. And then that brings you on to the season that we've just had. We had the Europa Conference League where we won in Kazakhstan, we beat the Irish and then lost to the Danes in Midtjylland. But the league season was phenomenal as we've lost very few games. We were just 2 points behind FCSB after 30 games, and in the playoffs, a slow start, but after that, just an incredible winning streak to win the title and then a cup final win as well to win the double this season. So that kind of brings you up to speed. You know, you're more than welcome to go and watch all the videos. There's like over 50 of them if you'd like to. But for those that, you know, can't really commit to binge watching something like that, then hopefully you're kind of brought up to speed. So I guess it's on to season 7 then. We've got to try and retain our title. We've got to try and have another good run in the cup, and then see how we do in the Champions League qualifying. That's going to be an interesting run this season. Let's see if we can get through to some group stage of some sort next season, whether it's in the Champions League or the Europa League or the Europa Conference League. That doesn't matter. Let's try and get through to a group stage next season. And on top of that, let's just see how we do in the league. We'll try and retain our title. We'll try and have another good cup run. I think it's going to be tough, but we'll give it our best shot. But anyway, that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, do drop a like down below and leave comments. They're the best ways to support and help the channel. And if you haven't done so already, or if you're new, then do subscribe and turn on notifications. We're less than 40 subs away from 1,000, so hopefully we can get a bit closer to that. And join me, hopefully on Sunday, for the first episode of Season 7, where I'm sure we'll have a few transfers, although again the season starts very early, so there's still loads of transfer windows still to go. So join me hopefully on Sunday for the first episode of Season 7 with the club, where we're going to try and defend our title, see if we can go on a bit of a European run again this season, and just see how things go. But that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.